both graduate level and executive education programs. Merrim was an entrepreneur in the high technology sector for more than 35 years. He was the founder, president, and CEO of Centair, Inc., a high technology professional services firm, which he sold in 2005. Centair, Inc. was recognized twice by Inc. magazine as one of the fastest growing privately held companies in the United States. In 1999 and 2000, Merrim was appointed to the Summer National Defense Science Board. He currently serves on the College Advisory Council, College of Natural Sciences and Mathematics at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, and the Chemistry Advisory Group at Tufts University. He is a member of the National Association of Corporate Directors, the Board of Overseas for Children Hospital Boston, and previously served on the Health and Education Financial Authority of Massachusetts. He also serves on the boards of several privately held companies. Merrim earned a PhD from Tufts University and a master's and bachelor's degree from the University of Massachusetts Amherst. He was named a Price Babson College Fellow and received the Edwin M. Appel Prize for bringing entrepreneurial vitality to academia.
That's not me.
My friend and one of the best teachers in this whole place. Amen.
You know, I don't know why they still call me an adjunct. I'm a full-time here. Actually, I'm double-time. Anyways, hi, how are you? Let me get rid of my phone. Let's see, you want me to just teach Centair, or you want me to teach something else?
You can do anything you want for 15 minutes.
What, I got 15 minutes? Let me just load up a slide deck here. Okay, so we can talk about it. That's all the lights?
Well, go ahead.
You realize this is my classroom. I was in an all-night last night. Good guy. You're not so bad.
You get higher ratings if you brought food in.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, in terms of, Len's asked you whether you think they're going to be successful. How many of you would have bought this company? Different question, right? Your money, how many of you would buy this company? One? One? That's pretty poor, isn't it? Two?
Well, just to comment on that, I think it's a very different situation because that's not a lot of our passions, and it's not what we're interested in. Because they put in a lot of work, and they put in a lot.
What was their passion? Management, right? Aren't you all in management here? I mean, what do they bring to the table? I think Len said it, that they bring management, right? Did they go to Harvard?
Yeah, sure.
So they bring the management piece to it. All right, so two of you would buy it. And why wouldn't you buy it? Margaret?
Well, I actually was considering buying it simply because it was so cheap, and there's not that much that you can lose. And it's,
So you would just buy because it's there.
well, I mean, if you're passionate about management and you're looking to exercise your expertise, it's an interesting.
Do they have a lot of management experience?
They're passionate about it.
They're passionate about it, right? Do they know anything else? They worked 1 year, right? 1 year out of school. Why were you willing to buy it?
Particularly because I'm very passionate about aviation.
Oh, because you like aviation.
And
All right, you
also-
crunch the numbers.
And also, like, I think it would be fun to be involved in a company that's struggling and make it a huge challenge to bring it upside down and start to make it profitable and something that I like.
So you would like to turn it around, right? Okay. Even after you crunch the numbers, right, and you determine the numbers, you're going to be out of business in 3 months. And you're still going to buy it.
Isn't that my challenge? To stop it?
What's your challenge?
Stop it from going out of business in 3 months, make it.
You do projections, you go to Harvard, you learn how to do things, you do the projections, you make a mistake, and you say, we're not having money for a year, we got money for 3 months.
Right.
But it's okay, right?
Yeah.
It's your projections. And they're, right?
I'll buy it for nothing, and if it doesn't work, I'll file for bankruptcy.
Ah, you gotta file for bankruptcy. Does that cost you something, filing for bankruptcy? Huh?
Your reputation.
Your reputation, right? You might only lose 10,000 of your own money, but you use reputation. What else do you use? You use time, right?
But it can be a success.
You run the numbers, you're in Len's group, he teach you how to do a spreadsheet, you do it, 3 months out, you're out of cash. You still do it?
But that way, nobody would do it. Like, so you have to.
I guess if you had a solid like plan, you could ask for investment maybe, or like if maybe part of your plan.
Would anyone invest in this type company? Is losing money, has a negative net worth, bad management. Would you put money in? No. Yeah, you're smart, right? It's not a good investment.
If I was a bigger airline company, I'd just scoop them up and reform them.
Okay. So we have only, what do I have this on here for? Let's take a look at some of the issues that I'd like to talk about. How big is this? Before we can analyze it, maybe, how big is this company? You have any idea how big it is? Is it 100 people? Is it 100 people? 1,000? How big?
I think it's like 60 million.
Huh?
Under 50.
Under 50. Seemed to me when you analyze a case, you said what, SWAT? You know, you'd like to know what's the magnitude that you have to look at. Is it a tiny company, 5 to 10 people? Is it 50 people, 100? So why don't you take a look and just count up how many people it is? It seems to me that's the first thing that you would do, right? Sarah, 1. How many people in the fuel line? It's okay to look at the case. Do you still have it? Well, how can you analyze it and let you know the magnitude of how many people you're trying to get? What? Yeah, there's other people. Do you know how many people around?
Less than 100, right?
Very good.
Small company.
So if you go down this list, you'll find there's about 35 people. So if you're buying this, it's not insignificant the amount of people that you're acquiring, right? It's not insignificant. 35 people, you gotta learn to manage 35 people. And then here are the people, the leaders, in their experience. And the question is, if you bought this, do you keep all the people?
Depends.
It depends. By the way, that's an MBA answer. You're right, you're still an undergraduate, right? The two answers MBAs give you, it depends and maybe. So if you learn those, you can move on. What does it depend? There it is. Do you keep them?
No, you don't. Your point is to change the management. That's why you're there. And if you find out that some people like Sarah was hindering the.
Okay, but right now, you buy it, this is what you'll end up with. Sarah's here, right?
Yeah.
So now, are you going to do, what are you gonna do on day one?
Fire Leon, report someone on,
You're gonna what, fire them all?
No, I fire Leon,
You fire which one?
the avionics,
You get rid of avionics.
right off the bat. That guy just clocked in 9 to 5, if I remember correctly, didn't really provide. much.
Okay, so you would fire that person right away. What else would you do?
I believe they worked something out with Sarah, the accounting, was that
Okay.
correct, where she
Yeah, but-
kind of transitioned the
But
accounting?
in day one, do they know what they have?
No.
I mean, it would seem to me, if I was buying a company, which we have, you need to understand what you have. So in day one, do you really go in and throw people out?
No, you have to like actually understand the functions, the structure.
Do these people understand the business?
No.
So you need a little bit of time. So I think, I mean, some people might do exactly what you say, Alex, but I think when you go in, you observation, watching, seeing what's happening, seeing who's doing what is really important, right? So, okay. So first, so some of you will get rid of people, some of you will not. What about their objectives? Did it meet their objectives? Did it cost nothing? You said absolutely, right? So you put a check mark.
Yeah.
Okay. Does this company need management skills?
Yes.
Yes. Another check mark. Is it in a fragmented industry?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we're doing pretty good, aren't we? Does the industry have 20% growth? How do you know that? Explain. Which one?
Just because the avionics industry has been extremely.
All right, so it's not in the case that it has 20% growth, right? So if you were from Harvard, I'm glad our president's not here. If you were from Harvard, what would you do? You'd do a market study, wouldn't you? Right? They'd go out and determine what's happening to the industry in a particular location that you were looking for. So I actually have a little piece, some other information that I'll share with you that wasn't in the case. Okay. Well, it started out with a fine criteria, okay? Then, like all entrepreneurs, they get caught up in the emotion, right? Are entrepreneurs emotional? Pretty much so, by the way, okay? So now they want to be in business, 1 year out of college. So they found some Centair, I'll read it, you can read it. They looked at a number of things. They didn't care. They want to be in business, right? They don't care whether it's a meat packing or a railroad or whatever. So they went and they met Bill Dickerson, and they asked him about what they thought about buying a distributor. And he said, I don't know much about it, but my company, Centair, is up for sale. At that point, they stopped looking around, got serious about Centair. That didn't take much, right? So the market research they did, right, they drove around the St. McGill area. They saw a lot of expensive homes with Mercedes parked in front, right? So they fell victim to that EIH. So what do you think about driving around, looking at houses and say, this is a very affluent area? That's their market study. What's that acquisitive look you have?
Confusing market survey.
It's not, to them it was perfectly clear, right? That's what they did. Are these dumb people? You're not saying two people from Harvard are dumb.
No, I don't think that's not.
Okay. But this is the market survey they did. Okay, and they fell to that disease that entrepreneurs have. Right? Did you have it? Maybe, right? About between the two of you can get a share in every ad.
I gotta tell you, at this point, I usually say when I'm doing is, okay, those of you who thought you could turn this thing around and do it, are you changing your mind? Yeah.
So, you know what this disease is, right? You don't? so entrepreneur in heat, okay? All they want to do is make something happen. So this is a market study. And you're willing to invest with these guys?
And so that EIH is gonna be on the final exam, so just remember.
All right, so now we'll cut to the chase here. What are the problems? What are the problems that they face? What are the things?
The accounting system.
The what?
The accounting system.
Okay, so let's call that the management control system. Okay? What else?
Their staff,
Anybody in particular?
their staff's problems with Sarah.
Sarah. What other issues exist? David?
Dropping cash flow.
Cash flow.
Sir, she didn't talk to suppliers to extend their accounts payable time?
The accounts payable people.
Yes, Sarah wouldn't talk to their suppliers so they could extend the time for accounts payable when they had to pay.
Okay, so Sarah. Let me get the, Mike.
The right hand didn't really know what the left hand was
The
doing.
what?
The right hand didn't know what the left hand was doing.
Okay, management control system. No information, right? I would think I'd put it up in there.
Fragmented profit centers that were all unprofitable.
Okay, management control system, right? Anything else that you would be concerned about that should be an issue?
Corporate culture.
The what?
The culture.
The culture, okay, people issues. Okay, I might be able to control that if I have the right control system. What else? Accounts payable, right, because I have a problem. Anything else?
They just lost their aircraft sales arm.
Aircraft sales, yeah.
If you guys want to, just kind of yell out the answers to
Yeah, Alice?
They don't really have a unified vision or strategy.
Okay, strategy. Here's two guys that don't know the business. It's really hard to do strategy, isn't it? Matter of fact, how do you do strategy if you don't understand the industry? What about the bank? Right? There's a big bank loan here, isn't it? Okay. So there are some of the problems when you buy this company. I only had 2 people wanting to buy it, right? So these are the problems you're facing, Alberto. What do you do with them?
You deal with them one by one.
Okay, I can live with that. So let's talk about Sarah to begin with, okay? All right, so here's Sarah. She sits right here, glass windows, sees everybody coming in and out, so she controls the physical space. Is Sarah a bad person? What?
She's bad for morale at the company.
Yeah, but is she a bad person? I mean, what's happened?
Neutral.
Has she been trained to do anything?
No.
No. Right? And the person she reports to has abdicated about doing something else. Sarah's probably doing the best she knows how. She's not an accountant. She might be bad for the company, but I don't think she's a bad person. At least there's not enough in there, right? So, but she controls. She's a control freak, right? We've run into some of those. Okay, she keeps everything in her head. You read all of this. She controls all the payables. No one knows anything. Everything's in her head. She's doing the best she can. And here's the control system. Right? That's what the control system is today. So how how did Ted deal with Sarah?
He created a deal where he would glean everything she knew over 30 days and then say goodbye.
You think that was a good idea?
Maybe the understanding everything she knows part of it, but having an ultimatum, or, at that point there, it might have been a bad idea.
Who's her loyalty to?
Well, it was to the old company, but I just don't think it's a good idea, because if you tell someone you have 30 days and then you're gone, they're not gonna want to necessarily help you as
True.
much as they can.
So what did he do? What did he do? He brought in someone
Yeah.
to work with Sarah, who he hires, who's loyal to him, right? Sarah only has to work 11 days, right? Okay, so we know how he dealt with Sarah. How did he deal, let's go down the issues here. How did he deal with accounts payable? Oh, by the way, did Ted do a good job? Well, what grade would you give him? How many would give Ted an A? One. By the way, two. Three. You're going to do it one at a time on me? Is that it? 3 A's. How many would give him a B?
I mean, from the point after he bought it, right?
What?
From the point after they bought the company.
Well, that's the only way you know him.
Well, I mean, it's they buy it in the first place.
What would you give him?
I
You gave him a B. How many would give him a C? 3. Anybody gonna give him less?
do a D.
Huh?
A D.
A D. Why would you give him a D?
I think he did a terrible job.
He did a terrible job. And how can you measure that?
I mean, you can't.
Oh, no. This is not a maybe or a depends.
Okay.
There are metrics in the case.
For instance, how he dealt with Sarah. I think that was.
You thought that was wrong?
Yeah, I would have done it much differently.
What would
I
you
think
done?
because you run the risk of everything in Sarah's head. Maybe she doesn't transfer everything. Maybe she leaves out like really key details.
Okay.
Why not offer her something that would kind of make her work for you? Like say you're gonna send her to an accounting class, get her CPA, have her learn to be an actual accountant, while you also hire that other person. That's how I would have dealt.
That's okay. There's more than one way to deal with people. Okay? And no one's to say your way is wrong. Okay? My only concern would be, to me, is where's your loyalty to the ex-boss or to me? I want my own person. That's me. Okay? I'm not saying your way is wrong. Okay, well, you gave him a D. What, yeah?
Well, I give him an A.
You gave him an A? Did I put it up there yet?
Yeah.
Did I did?
The way he handled the aircraft dealership contract and getting all the suppliers to give him more time and then renegotiating the bank note.
Okay, well, let's talk about all of those then, because that's one of the list. The accounts payable, how did he handle accounts payable?
Yeah.
He got in touch with like all the suppliers and pretty much started taking them out to lunch and getting to know them a little bit better.
Well, if you're a supplier and I owe you money,
You just have to be really nice.
how do you feel about that? I call you up, hey, I'm the new owner, I know we owe you money, we're gonna pay you, but I can only pay you $50 a month. Will you continue to ship us?
But I think building that relationship with them was the one thing that kind of.
So he's building relationship, that's a good word, okay? But if your accounts payable and a vendor, are you willing to supply him if I call you up and say, I'm the new kid on the block, I promise to pay you?
No.
If you don't ship me, I'm not gonna pay you. I'm not gonna tell you that. But that's what actually happens. So accounts payable, he went and visited all his important vendors and got them to continue to ship and promised to pay him. Right? So as long as you meet that commitment, I'm gonna pay you $10 a month on the old stuff, I'll pay you current today. I think vendors are gonna do it, don't you? So he got his vendors to supply, to help him. He dealt with Sarah. The bank loan. What did he do, how did he deal with the bank loan? Dave?
He approached them by saying that we'll be very transparent in our accounting products, and you get monthly updates of our accountants, so that you don't feel that even if we're doing it poorly, we're putting you at risk because you're giving us money and we're not telling them we're doing it poorly. So you'll have full control of the situation.
Okay, I have two questions. You're absolutely right. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that with banks, they started sending them the financial reports. So
Yeah.
so the banks knew how they were doing.
How many people are willing to show the banks all their day-by-day accounting statements? Are you?
No.
No. I don't think many entrepreneurs are willing to show in general, okay? So here he is, kind of like what he did with the vendors, developing credibility. I'm gonna show you everything. It's gonna be transparent. If you're the banker, how do you feel about that? Feel pretty good, don't you? And you get your day by day, right? You build up a trust. Did he go to the bank after he bought the company or before he bought the company? When would you go to the bank?
Before.
Before. Why?
Because if you refuse, you can just say, fine, I'm not gonna buy the company, you can deal with it yourself.
Because if you put money into the company,
Then they know that you
then
have
the
more.
bank, no, the bank can just take it right out and satisfy their note.
Yeah.
The money you put in is gone, so absolutely right. Okay? So we got with the bank based on trust, accounts payable based on trust, all right? What did he do for cash? What did he do? How did he handle that?
Sure.
Didn't he like sell the property and then lease it back?
No, that was to, he did, well, they bought the stock, right? They bought the stock in order to get the building, which they then sold back and got $100,000, right? If they bought just the assets, they wouldn't have gotten that lease. But now, that money's in the business, but now, they got accounts receivables. What did he do with the accounts receivables? Remember, he gave all the accounts receivables to,
He gave them incentives to pay on time.
he gave what?
He gave them incentives to pay on time.
Okay.
Earlier, so that
But
the cash.
I guess I'm looking at, who did he, they decided they had to delegate the accounts, right? He took all accounts receivables, which is the cash, and who did he give the responsibility?
Didn't give it to each department.
Gave it to the department managers. What do you think of that? He delegated that responsibility, the cash responsibility. And my question to you, did he really give it to the department managers? Who did he give it to? He gave it to the dispatcher, right?
He gave it to himself and Sarah.
What?
Himself and Sarah.
He gave, let's take the front line. Here you are, you're the department guy, what do you like to do every day? Fly, right? You like to fly. You come in, you wanna fly, I like to fly, I take you up. I don't worry about how much you owe me. But I put Stacy in between, I said, Stacy, give me the accounts receivables. You now come in, you talk to Stacy, Stacy says, hey Dee, you haven't paid for the last 5 times. You wanna fly? You pay. Because the head of that, he wants to fly. So the question is that a good move or a bad move? Not to the managers, but to the dispatchers. All right. So now he has the management control system. Provide managers with information. That makes sense, right? Educate everybody. Help educate. Purpose of the system. right? You said communication, culture, this is what's gonna do it, we can do it, right? And here's the components. Cash responsibility to all the departments. Everybody's profit center. Now remember the team, the not an educated team, right? He gave them purchasing authority. He let them hire, fire their people in their group. Would you have delegated that far down?
No,
Hmm?
no.
No. So what do you think about this now? You want to take back the two people who are willing to buy this? What do you think about delegating everything down?
I think it makes sense in their situation because, again, they don't really know this business and they don't really know the industry. So they're there to set up a better management structure.
So would you say if I empower the people below me, because I don't know diddly about this business?
No, I mean, obviously they're learning at the same time.
Yes,
but
they are.
making it so that their employees have trust in the company and making it so their employees feel empowered to work better for the company and to make the company survive and work well as a team, that's a better corporate environment.
Okay. So you like this approach, right? If you were one of the people with no high school, or just a high school education, you got this responsibility, you would say, I feel good. Okay?
I see this as a motivational tool, like Offer was already said. It's motivating the personnel and the key employees to have an added incentive in working hard. If you're empowered. But at the same time, I believe it was slightly premature. If you give up control too early, then things can go haywire.
Well, the other partner felt that way too, right? Ted is the one that wanted it, and Frank was really nervous. He thought it was given too much too early. Yes.
What case do you think Ted had in Harvard, that got told about this? Johnsonville sausage.
Johnsonville sausage,
Yeah.
I agree with what they said, and even though we're in college, they give a lot of importance to college education, but it's irrelevant in this context, and it's because that doesn't define them, and they could be doing a perfectly good job without any education at all, and they have been working there for several years and know the business better.
They've been in there several years, they got work experience. I have no information about the business because Sarah hasn't given it to them. All of a sudden I tell you, not only am I gonna tell you about the business, your piece of the business, you're in charge. You hire your people, you can buy things, right? You know everything about your section. How do you feel?
I feel like I have a lot of responsibility, but I'm eager because this is like a...
So this might be a really positive way here for me to downplay. First of all, I don't know about your department, right?
Yeah.
But you know about it.
Exactly.
I just have to give you the information. Yes, ma'am.
Alex used the word empower. I think that's true, but you can't empower people if you don't give them the ability to actually do their job and do it well. So maybe teaching them how to do the accounting end of
Okay.
things and giving them the tools to actually use their power, as opposed to just giving them power, is giving power to them.
Okay,
And that's
good
okay.
point. Good point. Oh, we're in trouble. Oh, we're in trouble.
It's just
We're talking about two Harvard MBAs that screw up.
What's unusual about that?
So anyway, but let me ask you, this office that you saw is pretty small, isn't it? So the two owners sit here and here. You sit there. You make a choice, right? He can feed right back to you. So you're learning all the time because he's hearing and he's feeding back. But you're absolutely right. If I don't teach you, then just give me the power doesn't help. You're absolutely right. David?
I don't like the fact that the departments can fire people they want to. I think that if you're working in some department, like you can send a recommendation to head office and they can fire people, but they should avoid as many conflicts within the departments. That way, like, avoids not the conflict
Okay, so you want Ted and Frank to get involved in that, or you want the department manager?
Well, I think the process should be just less personal. Like, I'm not firing you and I work with you every day. Like, if I would fire you, I send you to someone else and he fires you.
Oh, somebody else fires you?
But at the end of the day.
That's really passing the buck when you have to lay people off to let someone else do it.
Can I ask you a question, David, though? Okay, remember we were talking about empowerment, okay, and we said who makes, let's go like Johnson talk, or no, okay? Who makes the decisions on those things? And the question was, you know, does management make the decisions, or after you've empowered people, you've got to give them the right to be able to make decisions, otherwise you haven't really empowered them. If you haven't empowered them, you can't expect the results from empowerment. So you can't have it both ways. It's either your class or my class, okay? It's either give them empowerment or not. Because you've got a sinking ship here. And you've got to do something to turn it around.
And I just want to make sure you know who got all the responsibility for it's in the fuel department. It says, I handled the receivables, which is the cash, to a dispatcher, a 20-year-old surfer who had dropped out of college after 2 years. Okay, 20-year-old surfer. In the flight school, these are the only two things where money was coming from. I gave them to the dispatcher, a 55-year-old loyal employee, not to the department managers. The department just want to do their thing. And you graded Ted. All right, so now I ask you what kind of manager, and you gave him the grade. So here it is just before purchase. Has 119,000 in cash, right? You remember that, 19,000 plus the 100? Right, profitability is roughly that, working capital. What happens 8 months later in your case? Is this better?
Another success story for Don.
Is this better? You start to like this company a little bit better, huh?
Definitely.
Definitely. Now, remember, I gave all the...
Wait a second, Ed. I saw the other ones. Is this for Lynn's purpose, because he's a Harvard guy, that you're making this thing profitable?
I know, I had to change, I knew this was coming. Now, remember where I gave the receivables to? I didn't give them to the department managers, I gave them to the dispatchers within the department, right? And what happens if they do a good job?
They get to keep the percentage.
Hmm? Well, days go down, I collect more money, what do I get more of? Oh wait, if I ever ask a question you don't understand, just yell out cash. You're probably gonna get the right answer. Right, so with me, cash really resonates.
Okay, so remember, it's cash, it depends, EIH. Those are the things that are on the exam.
But here you are. How well did it work out, me giving the dispatchers the accounts receivable? Pretty good. Pretty good. Okay. And who gave a D? You feeling any different?
No, I.
Okay, then just stay there. I'm not finished with you yet. And because you're sitting next to him, it still means I can pick on you.
I know.
Okay, so here was the...
You want to ask him questions, it'll help you.
Here was the income statement, right? And you can see loss, a profit, right? In the fuel. It's hard not to make a profit in fuel. Let's take a look at 8 months later. And I'll just profit, right? We got rid of avionics, as you suggested, still losing money on the aircraft. How do you feel now? A lot better, right? Does he deserve a D, Alex?
No.
How about a C?
Okay.
Okay.
I'll give this.
How about a C? All right, so let's just take a look at what happened. Let's take a look at this system that we said, pushing down the power management control system. What happens? All right, the blonde surfer, that's the 20-year-old. I like surfers, what can I tell you? Okay, motivated by that for growth and innovation, she spoke up. Remember, she dropped out, and no really one man except surfer. So Idle Planes suggested the company get a jet flight training, okay? She now had 152 employees working for her. They're doing $2 million a month. Alice, how are we doing? Can we move up to a C+?
Yeah.
All right, so what is the one area?
Oh, it's like this, you're gonna leave early, because by the time you get me, you're gonna.
Okay, so now, what is the one area that we're still having problems with? Aircraft sales. Okay? No profits in 2 years, they didn't know how to figure this out. They really struggled. Everything else is profitable, doing really well, okay? They needed someone to be good at selling. So if they decide that, who would you hire to sell airplanes?
Somebody that can sell the diaper to a.
Somebody at what?
That can sell a diaper to an
Okay.
A good salesman.
A good salesman.
Yes.
Maybe someone with a network that has, people that are kind of in that, I don't know, income where they can buy
Okay.
things like that.
Okay. But you think about it, yes.
When it says pilots, the individual who likes to sell airplanes is a pilot with a passion for it.
So you want a pilot?
He could be involved in the process. They're speaking to other pilots on what's the benefit of this.
Yes.
You don't know where to buy it.
Okay.
Just because you know what you need to know if an actor is good or not, so you sell you exactly from those.
Alex?
I would hire a beautiful girl.
Sell airplanes?
You're dealing with like executives and people like that.
Okay.
If Hooters can sell food.
Or recruiters.
Yes.
What if Frank does it?
What?
What if Frank sells it?
Oh, just let Frank sell the airplane. Well, I haven't been successful for 2 years, so I just still big negative.
You said it's a welfare area and everybody seems to be pretty materialistic, so I was hiring someone that worked in real estate, then worked in the Mercedes dealership, then worked in the local boat dealership.
So someone who can't keep a job.
Someone that knows everybody.
Oh, someone that knows everybody.
Familiar face.
Wouldn't not the charter pilots know the clientele that would be buying airplanes? So you could hire them.
Yeah, good, okay. Pilot, yeah. Yeah, who would you hire?
What we've done in all our companies are, we go to our competitors and get their best salesmen and induce them to come over with us.
You know, you're not a nice person.
Exactly right. I get that from other people in my department, I don't need it from you.
That'll be our Okay. So what happened? We'll wrap this up. They went out and hired a short, fat, greasy cigar smoking man.
Alex, you're right again.
What do you think of that? Good choice, bad choice? Maybe, it depends, right? Pretty good, is that who you would have hired?
Yeah.
Far away from a good-looking lady, by the way. What? You wouldn't buy from him. He could prospect, qualify, sell, blah, 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 by watching the eyes. Well, let's take a look. He formed a sales company, told him he could do whatever he wanted, as long as he sold airplanes. Except he couldn't hire pilots as salespeople. Because what do they like to do?
Fly.
They like to fly. They're not interested in selling. So how well did they do? In the first year, the company made $400,000 profit. Eventually became the world's largest seller of lead jets and citations outside the factory. Alex, how are we doing now?
Bueno.
Wait. That a B?
Yeah, B plus.
B plus. Okay, good. Okay. So that was the lessons that I wanted to convey. Empowering, getting people, doing the training, which I agree with you. But being in a small proximity, you can accomplish that without, let the control system drive the process. Anyway, the two partners went on, they built this, sold this for a significant sum of money, because the two partners decided they, like what happens in partnerships a lot, is that they had different goals now. One was married, one wasn't, and they went off on their different ways. They made sold it for $100 million, so they did pretty good, okay? So those two investors, come up and see me and we'll split the awards, okay? All right.
I think I got you for a second though. Team 5 and Team 8, can you just go over your answers with Ed and let him critique it? No, yes, 5A?
5.
You remember what you had? Yeah, please. Can you just go over with it? No, just your answer and how you got to it.
We believe that we made a SWOT analysis, and for our strengths, we said that although the employees lacked a college education, they were knowledgeable of the aviation business and their respective areas. The fuel line manager basically said that they were that they were good at what they do and they liked the company. For opportunity, we said that manager of the flight school had several world records. I'm just going to skip to number 2.
Oh, okay. So another thing that we did was for the decentralized authority, we thought a mentor system would be pretty important. So what we did was, in order to create more empowerment, what we wanted was to mentor 2 people, and those 2 people would mentor 2 others. And so in that way, Ted and the 2 won't have to focus on just mentoring. It also allows everyone else to have a better understanding. Usually you learn the most when you teach someone else.
Good. Yeah, so there was a chain reaction as opposed to trying to do the whole system. And which comes to, it's a final conclusion that you have bought, the company did find it was successful.
Yes.
Well, same thing as what Team 5 said, but more importantly, we talked about how the biggest problem was the centralized operation. Everything, Sarah controlled all the cash flow, which sort of interrupted the innovation and growth in other different sections of like the flight school and other aspects of the thing. So what we suggested was, as these 2 pioneers who were buying this company to management, we decided that we would recommend them to decentralize all the operations